Hello, good evening, good day, whatever time this is for you when you actually see this. Welcome back. We haven't been here for the past couple of weeks. Okay, so it is a good 2 week break from football, which is something that some people already uh, worked up withdrawal symptoms. But in any case, we are in game week 32. We are going to talk about cheap strategies. Are you going to wildcard? Are you going to bench boost? Are you going to free hit? And we're going to dive into the transfers and whether you're chasing your mini league or whether or not you're trying to just play catch up. We got some tips for you. Unfortunately, okay, so by the way, I'm Fonzie as usual, and the A game is here as well, but we're missing our very energetic colleague, Theo, who sends his apologies, unable to, but we hope to see him again next week. A game, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Had a very 3 very long weeks, and then now coming to the last 1 or 2 days, I feel like I don't have enough time because of whatever has happened at the FA Cup and the chip use. So suddenly, we are waiting, and then suddenly now, it's like there's no time. We got to go and start doing our teams already.
Quite surprising. I mean, Man City and Liverpool was interesting, but to see Arsenal bow out is the one where really threw us all off the game.
Yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
so these are the fixtures for game week 32. Looking at some interesting fixtures there. The Arsenal game is kind of tantalizing. Same with the Everton game, and then after that
Mm.
you have Chelsea Man City, which is actually very very interesting.
Yeah. And
Moving,
some of these teams they are chasing for Europe. Some of these teams they are fighting
yeah,
relegation, like Nottingham Forest.
mm,
Interesting to see Tottenham with the new manager, De Zerbi. So they are playing against Sunderland, who is quite strong at
Sunderland.
home. So yeah, so there are a few interesting matchups. And Man United versus Leeds. Leeds are still not in the clear. Man United is still trying to get into that Champions League spot. And yeah, in Arsenal, they cannot afford to drop points against Bournemouth. And definitely, it all begins in the week with West Ham, who is down there fighting. And they're up against Wolves, so they definitely need the 3 points to put pressure on Nottingham Forest and Tottenham. So big matches this game week 32.
Mm, moving along. Okay, we have
Ah,
our and this is what we were talking about earlier. So Arsenal has bowed out of the FA Cup, and as a result, okay, we will not have a double for Arsenal and Newcastle since they are up. We have six teams doubling
yeah.
in 33, and these same teams are not going to be playing in game week 34, which makes our chip strategy a bit strange this time around.
Yeah, because I had Newcastle players and I had Arsenal players in my team. So if they had gone in, which Arsenal should
Mm,
have, goodness, I think the football gods are just not with me because I had planned my team nicely with Arsenal and Newcastle players, and because of their loss to Southampton, goodness gracious, um, now the Arsenal players and the Newcastle players in my team are, you know they are useless. For example, in game week 33, not fully useless, but they are not double gamers. They would have been better if they were double gamers. So the teams that are doubling would only be Man City, Burnley, Chelsea, Brighton, as well as Leeds and Bournemouth. So only 6 teams instead of 8.
mm. But then again, if you look at these teams, you wonder whether or not you really want double gamers from Burnley, Brighton, and
Exactly.
even so these are not teams that can assure you a lot of points. They may have
Yeah.
double games, but end up with
Yeah, unlike if Arsenal had gone in, would have been, Man City, Arsenal, Newcastle. It was,
mm,
and then you just make up the numbers with Chelsea, Burnley, Brighton players. But
mm,
now, yeah, now that's it. So decisions are there to be made.
okay. So these are the double gamers. Okay, so
Yep.
as can be seen from here, right, you have some interesting possibilities that you might want to look at. So, for example, there are a lot of people who are going to go into Man City players, considering, especially after seeing Haaland's performance, in the games against Liverpool, and then after that, seeing that okay, he might be back. It's not really not the time to get rid of him now. Some people are also considering people like Semenyo, things like that, to really boost up So it'd be quite interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah. And the next
Mm.
best team would probably be Chelsea. And but then
Oh yeah,
again, Chelsea are up again Manchester
Man
United
City.
and
Yeah.
Brighton, right?
Mm. But they're playing Manu at home, lah.
Yeah.
So we shall see. Okay, moving on. These are the fixtures.
Yep.
Okay, you want to read in full screen?
Okay. Hmm. Oops.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're
So
there.
this, yeah. All right. I just saw myself disappearing. Okay. All right. So game week 32, we have already gone through the fixtures. Game week 33, the doubles, we are already there. Be aware that these teams that are doubling in game week 33 will blank in game week 34. So this will affect the chip strategy later. So it's good to take note. Now, what happens after 34? I think a lot of us know what is going to happen at 33, at 34. But what's going to happen after that? So that comes in at 35. So 35, nothing special really. And then 36, the teams in orange means that there is likely double, which is Man City and Crystal Palace.
The
So
Palace.
these two teams may be doubling, 90% chance of doubling in game week 36. Now, after that, there is no real doubles after that. Very unlikely, between 1 to 10%, 1 to 5%. So, most likely, there won't be any more doubles after game week 36. So, from these fixtures, from what you can see here, we need to plan what's the best chip strategy, especially if you still have all your chips like me and Fauzan.
Mm. Okay. So you when you have all of that, you got to decide where's the best opportunity to
Mm.
use. Okay, so let's jump straight into it. So this is the as you call it, the OG strategy, right? Can you tell us more about
Y-
it?
Yeah, okay. So this is the original gangster lah. This has been around since game week 20 something. Especially when you have all your chips, right? Wildcard, bench boost, free hit, and triple captain. So this chip has been around. Lately, there's been more talk of another way to use it. But for those of you who don't know, this is the most sought after kind of chip use. So wildcard 32 to prepare for double game week 33. Okay, because I wouldn't have thought of using it, but because Arsenal is out, Newcastle is out, then my team does require a little bit of modification to get the best of bench boost 33. So what's the advantage of this? Almost all players in game week 33 are double gamers because you would put everybody. I think the only one that I would leave behind is probably Gabriel and probably Bruno Fernandez, because even in a single game, he gets the double game week points. So other than that, I would think the rest of the team, if I'm going to wild card, it's going to be a double gamer, like Brighton players, Chelsea players, Man City players. So you would put everybody as a double gamer, and because you do that, your bench boost in game week 33 makes a lot of sense because all your bench will also be the double gamers. So this is that strategy. And why this is very popular is because, as you saw in the fixture earlier, right, that the double gamers are the most at game week 33. So you want to have that all 15 or 14 or at least 13 players are all double gamers. So your bench players gets the maximum points. So highest double gamer for the rest of the season is game week 33. So while cutting 32 ensures a very good 33. The disadvantage of this strategy is that your game week 32, your wild card is only meant for 33. Your 32 and beyond 32, 34, 35, 36, you those players that you choose at 32 with your wild card is only meant for 33. That's the problem. So you need to have enough transfers to get your team back to optimal. You know what I mean? For example, you will not have Arsenal players in your team because Arsenal is out. So for game week 33, you will not have Arsenal players in your team, or maybe just one.
Maybe
But do you
22.
want?
So
Oh, sorry. Game week 32. Yeah, game week 32 as well, because you only will have one Arsenal player. So do you want to have only one Arsenal player for the rest of the season because you have wild carded? So that's the problem with this strategy. It prepares you very well for 33, okay, but maybe for the rest of the season you need to figure something out.
So this works if you still have a lot of transfers saved. So
Mm,
if you do this and then you save your transfers in game week 33 and 34, that gives you at least about three transfers to do. If you have some from before that, you will have more, and then this will be viable strategy. If
yeah,
not, then the other viable strategy, okay, would be to free hit in 33. So in other words, right now, use the transfers you have to get the best possible team that you can get for game week 32. So just focus on game week 32. And then after that, in game week 33, you do a free hit. So you literally free hit so that you can get the best players that are playing double games for game week 33. And then game week 34, it reverts back. And then you use your wildcard for game week 35 onwards. So then the benefit of using this strategy is you will be getting the best possible team for game week 32. You will be getting the best possible chance of getting good players for, as in the double gamers for game week 33, since you are free hitting. At the same time, you get to reset your team using the wildcard for game weeks 34 onwards. Okay, all the way until the end of the season. The only negative is that you will not be able to use your bench boost in a double game week for 15 players. Yeah, so in other words, you lose the opportunity, lah, but here is where we actually have to balance because some of the double gamers, as mentioned earlier, some of the double gamers are not exactly players that naturally score a lot of points. So if you bank on the strategy, the previous strategy, basically, this one, this strategy is a gam. I feel like this is a gambler strategy because you are hoping that game week 33 double game is going to give you massive points, and then after that you will struggle for the remainder of the season. The other strategy, which is this one where you free hit 33, it gives you a better chance. The only thing is then your bench boost will be a random week worth of bench boost, in which case you might not get the full benefit of a bench boost. So in that sense, you got to figure out which is the one that makes more sense to you. Which one is the one that can bring in more points, right?
mm, yep,
Mm,
yep. That's true. So that means here your bench boost will have to be played at 36 or 37, as you saw in the previous was that fixtures, right? There
mm,
is a potential of double for Man City and Crystal Palace. So your bench boost is only based on two teams. Right now, it's based on six teams. You know what I mean? So that's the other. And then where do you, if you still have your triple captain, where do you play your triple captain? Your triple captain would have to be in a single game week already. So if you have
mm,
four chips still left, this strategy would, I mean, you can only use your triple captain in a single game week.
mm. So this is literally basically two. It's just basically two schools of thought. Which one you prefer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one suits
So,
you best? Depends on how many chips you have,
mhm.
depends
And how
on
many
your current
transfers? Yeah.
game week. Yeah, how many transfers you have, whether your team now is good enough for game week 32, So it depends on a lot of this. But generally, these are the two big strategies that you can use. Choose
Mm,
the one that best suits you. Either one has a disadvantage.
yeah. Either one has a disadvantage, and it's about choosing key players who at the end of the day still might not perform.
Hmm.
And you must remember that even though you may be bench boosting, for example, if you use the previous strategy and you bench boost in game week 33, you must remember that the double gaming teams are playing each other. So in other words, if you pick the wrong side, you might also get one, you will get more returns from one group than the other group, which can negate the strategy entirely also. You'll be bench boosting, half the team doing very well,
Yeah,
half the
yeah.
team doing nothing also.
Knowing this season, a lot of funny
Mm,
things happen. Our Haaland, you double against against Leeds. He only scores 1 point, and then there's a chance of Welbeck. Welbeck is the most transfer in player. He has big chance. The last time there was a double game week with Brighton, both the games he didn't play. So
Mm.
I mean, all these things can happen.
Yeah, funny season. Okay, moving along. So these, as mentioned, these are the top transfers in this week. Welbeck, uh, and then Van Heck, because I think price to value and the possibility of the double.
Yeah,
O'Reilly has also been performing very, very well in
yeah,
all games.
yeah,
Fernandez, no need to say, and Haaland because of the recent FA Cup performances and all. So in other words,
yeah,
that's where people have hope lah, because they were
yeah,
getting rid of him in the last season
yeah,
and last game week.
yeah. I think
So
you must have three Man City players. You must.
mm,
They're not only doubling, they are double doubling. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So they are doubling now, and then they are also highly possible doubling in game week 36.
mm. And
So you must have three Man City players.
uh,
So either Haaland, I
and
mean the three most popular one is Haaland, Semenyo, and O'Reilly.
yeah, man,
But there are
Semenyo is
some, of
also
course,
on
going for
fire, man.
double. You also going for double. Some players are going for double. Was that Man City defenders? But I would go for Haaland, Semenyo, and O'Reilly. Just leave them in your
Mm.
team for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think that's a better combination because the other possibility would be to get Guehi in. But if you have O'Reilly there, really,
But Goyi has
defense.
been disappointing for me. I mean, that's it. He has
Uh,
been disappointing for me for the past 8 games since he came in from Crystal Palace.
mm,
Um, yeah, but O'Reilly is on fire.
mm. Young also, God, so much potential. Okay, these are the people who's out. Injuries. Okay, Chaluba's injured. Ekitike, I think his minutes are
Now Isha
doubtful
is
a little
coming
bit.
back, right? And then there's no
Yeah,
double game as well. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And his price point 9.3. It's not
yes,
cheap. So they
yeah.
are, yeah, besides one or two spikes, the rest of his performance is, for some reason, it's not clicking.
Our good friend has a double game, but yet he's out. Jao Pedro.
Exactly. This is a huge surprise for me. The João Pedro. Double game. And yet people are selling him. I would assume this was the initial sale by a group of people way early at the after game week 31 where he blanked, I think.
Mm.
So against Everton, right? So he only had 2 points against Everton. So I think that after that game, everybody just sold him, not realizing later on that he is double gaming. So yeah, I will definitely keep him in my team.
If you have him, don't let go of him at the moment. Lah. The
Yeah.
other one that people are letting go is Mboimo, who also hasn't been giving points lately. But if you have him, do you really want to get rid of him against Leeds? I mean, maybe not now, lah. Maybe next game week. Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
that's what I think.
depends on whether you're wild carding, right? So if you're wild carding for the 33, the only one that you will leave behind is probably Bruno. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah.
So if you're not wild
Right.
carding, then definitely a good punt for game week 32.
And okay, so if you are wildcarding, as you mentioned earlier, this would be the best case wildcard draft. Right? Where do you get this from?
It's from FPL Giga, so it's a thank you to that website for coming up. So I thought I took a picture because I thought it was quite a good draft. So it's a good one to share, and also to bring up my point. So like when you do a wild card at 32, right? It is definitely for 33. It is not for 32. You know what I mean? So at 32, you see, for this team, if you're going to wild card at 32, you have only one Arsenal player. Do you really want one Arsenal player for the rest of the season? Definitely not. And then you have that Leeds player. You're definitely not going to have a Leeds player against Man United at World Cup. So basically, this is for 33. It's not for 32. So you're just going through the motion for 32 and hope for the best. So that's the problem with wild carding at 32.
I'm guessing if you use this team, you'll probably leave out Aronson, Hill, uh, Petrovic, and yeah, out for the against for game week 32 lah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then after that, bench boosting in 33, hoping that everybody does well.
Yes, exactly.
Uh,
So this team is specifically to bench boost for 33.
Actually, Welbeck over Calvert Lewin, I don't know.
Well, back when he plays, he has a high chance of scoring. The only
Yeah.
issue is his minutes.
Yeah.
Excuse me. The only issue is his minutes. So a lot of pundits out there has been saying that the last time they had double game week, Welbeck didn't play for both of them.
Mm.
So you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
I mean he has a higher chance of scoring, but I mean DCL has a higher chance of playing both
Yes.
games,
Mm.
and yeah, actually both also on penalties. So yeah, but the
Okay.
good thing is if you put in Welbeck, game week
Mm.
32 he's against Burnley.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Calvert
Yeah.
Lewin is
Menu
against
lah.
Man United. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So Welbeck seems to be a better choice at this point in time.
Okay. Okay. So what do you decide to do?
So this is my team. I had used three transfers. I've not activated my wildcard. So after using three transfers, I can still
Mm.
activate my wildcard and get back my transfers. Um, that's what they say lah. So I've brought in O'Reilly. I brought in Haaland back because I had Akitike. So I sold Akitike. I brought in Haaland. I sold Anderson and brought in O'Reilly, and I sold DeBranca. Although he has a double gamer, and I brought in Verbruggen from Brighton because he's going to have and then he's also facing Burnley in 32. So at this point, if I don't use my wild card, this is my team. It's very good setup for 32, but is it good enough for 33? That is my dilemma. So for 33, I will only have two goalkeepers and double gamers,
Yeah.
two defenders that are double gamers in O'Reilly and Hill, um, and then one midfielder that is a double gamer. Okay,
And two forward.
two forward that is a double gamer. So a total of seven. So only seven double gamers. And then I'm clicking my bench boost. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would I click my bench boost if only seven are double gaming and my whole bench is not double gaming? You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, don't make sense, right? So it's that dilemma there, lah, whether you want to weaken your game week 32 by getting rid of Wilson, getting rid of Gordon, and then making sure that bench boost 33 makes sense by adding like Pascal Gross or Welbeck instead of Thiago, things like that. So that is the dilemma. That's why I feel I need more time even after 3 weeks, right, of no games, right? Suddenly comes to
Mm.
the end, I feel I need more time to decide on it because
Decision.
every
It's a
other website
decision.
I go gives me the same dilemma.
Yeah. That's a decision thing. This is where I am at the moment. So I have enough transfers. So these are all free transfers that has been brought in. But this is in planning for the rest of the season. At the moment, I think that Semenyo's on fire. Gonna bring him in. Jao Pedro, questionable, but the threat, the goal threat is there. And Van Heck as the double gamer. So I will have a decent amount. Okay. The only problem here will be if Mbeumo doesn't perform, then Dango as well. So then I'm gonna end up with a lot less points. But having said that, this is decent. But having gone through the discussion earlier, I am seriously considering the idea of wildcarding this week so that I can save these four transfers, and after another two more game weeks, having another one more transfer, so that I can then revert it back. So in other words, I will do the wildcard for this game week, and then after that bench boost next game week, and then after that I use the transfers to get all
So
my
basically
points back.
using the OG strategy lah, which in wildcarding this week, free hitting, bench boost 33, free hit 34, and then 35 there's nothing, and then probably triple captain 36, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
I'm
so
leaning
I'm,
towards that as well lah, because I don't find the need to save up the wild card for 35 at this point in time.
mm, but yeah, like it's really hard to say because
Yeah, it's difficult to
you
say.
don't want to see next week the double game week and then And then they all perform
If
lousy.
I do my wild card and then my Wilson, my Gordon scoring 10, 12 points
Yeah, yeah,
in 32, I'll be like,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the
We
problem with
should.
not being able to use two chips at one time. I wish I could just
Yeah,
use the wild card and bench boost on the same week.
yeah.
So I can change my team and then bench boost, right?
Mm. But I guess that's part of the charm in
Yeah.
this. Figuring out which strategy is best.
Yep.
Okay, so in summary, as you were saying, you cannot get the best of all game weeks without compromises, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
So in
you,
the end, whichever chip strategy that you use, it depends on the number of chips that you have. It depends on the players that you have, and you just got to close your eyes and go for it. You know, whichever
mm,
feels the best way. There's no 100% guarantee.
yep,
Yep.
that pretty much sums up the entire season. Uh-huh. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's it from us. Okay, that this
Yeah.
is our 2 cents worth for game week 32 and beyond. So we hope that you enjoy. And if you like what you heard, please like and subscribe and share this with your others. And let us
Mm,
know if you have any other ideas, any other suggestions, or any other players we should
yeah.
have, or any other strategies that might work out better.
Mm. Yeah, we
Right?
hope that our explanation of what chips to use makes sense because there's a lot of complications out there. So I hope
Mm,
we have put it into a very easy way for you to relook at our slides and then come to your own best conclusion.
mm,
So with that said, good luck. All the best to for your game week 32 and game week 33 and beyond. And yeah, look out for us with PO for the next week. Right? Don't forget to click the like, the subscribe, and yeah, give your comments in the comment section below. Cheers.
bye bye.